what if I make the decision that I want to be a camera op in 2025? How am I going to make a decent living doing that?
I think what you need to be, if I could maybe say, you probably just need to be nimble. You need to make sure that you touch as many people as possible, because you never know which person will be the one that takes you to that next level.
Welcome to the Sound Mixers podcast, where we highlight people and departments that make production possible. Today, we're focused on the Emmy department, and I'm honored to be joined by Keith Walker. His years of expertise and impact make this a conversation you don't want to miss. Now let's get into it. The Emmys were just on, and you actually got one in 2019, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it was actually last year.
Oh, it was last year?
Yeah.
So this is fresh. Okay, so how does that feel? And my first question is, does that change your rate when you're negotiating
Absolutely
for work?
not. No, it doesn't
doesn't?
change your rate. No, absolutely not. So the Emmy was for Best Documentary for the Little Richard, I Am Everything documentary, directed by Lisa Cortez.
I remember that. So
that was last year's winner of the Emmys.
But you were nominated in 2019 for something different.
I think I was.
For that one you did with John
Lewis. A
Lewis.
couple of times. Right, yes. John Lewis, A Good Man.
Mm-hmm.
And that was with Dawn Porter, director. Both black female directors.
Hey, shout out to her.
Absolutely. Shout out to both of them.
So how did that feel winning an Emmy, and why has that not changed your rate? Because I think I would have tried.
It's nice to be recognized amongst your peers, but it doesn't necessarily change things. I mean, it's one of those things where you're only as good as your last hurrah.
It's true.
In many cases, and people don't necessarily hire you because you have an Emmy. They hire you for your mass body of work that you've done over the years, or by word of mouth, or by word of mouth, or recommendations by other people. So
it didn't help at all?
I mean, what you want to do is you want to use it as a marketing tool.
Yes.
To advance your career, but it doesn't necessarily,
So you didn't think
have
to yourself,
all the doors were, knocking because of that.
that would have been my profile picture.
Is that right?
Oh, what?
I try not to toot too much.
I saw you the other night with it behind you.
That was the only time so when I got it last year, when I unveiled it, I did a shot with it on Facebook and Instagram, and then that's the only other time I've actually presented it, was last night.
That's crazy.
And that was not really a present. It was just like
a flex.
It was a little bit of a flex. I'm at home watching the Emmys with my Emmy. So
That was cool. Yeah. Did you actually go to the Emmys last year? How does it work?
I did not go.
So they mailed it to you?
Yeah, it was a mail-in. Yeah.
So does the whole crew get one?
I mean, it's one of those things where if you're nominated and you win, then anyone on the team has the ability to just say, "Hey, I want my Emmy." So you have to pay for it. I mean, it's not free. You have to pay for it on your own, but it's worth it.
It is so worth it.
And in terms of going, I mean, only like the director and the executive producers and people on the higher echelon get those spots. Not the DPs and the audio people and all that.
Well, I knew audio wasn't going. But that DP? Come on now.
No, that's okay. It's
wow.
Okay. I'm fine.
Yeah, hey man, you got it.
Yeah.
So you've worked with legends like Oprah, Alice Walker, Maya Angelou, John Lewis. I can keep going. What is it about Keith that keeps them calling you for their projects?
You probably have to ask them that question, not me. I don't know. I think what you see is what you get with me. I'm not a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I'm pretty straightforward, but I've never been a tyrant. I've never been an asshole on sets. I think I have a good rapport with people, and I think that's important, to be nice and considerate and thoughtful. All the things that hopefully, Mom raised me well on, which I count that a blessing. But it's also showing up right, and every now and then we make mistakes, but that's that's not something that you want to dwell on or do every time.
Okay.
And consistency. You know, a lot of people, especially people in the higher echelon of our business, what they want is stability. And once you represent that well for them, then if you're doing the right work, you get the calls back.
Now, you mentioned mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
What was the biggest mistake you've made in your career?
As a DP shooter, probably double clicking.
That's a
And
thing.
you know, yeah. So you hit the record button and you double tapped it instead of tapping it once, and you're rolling for a while, and you just kind of looking. It's like, oh my God, I am not rolling.
How did you get out of that?
I mean, it's just one of those things where it's an honest mistake. It happens. Any DP or camera operator that has worked in this industry for a little bit of a time or a lot of time, that's happened to them at least once or twice.
This happened to me, and
Yeah.
the client has not called me back since.
That's
Didn't that hurt my heart
unfortunate.
so bad?
That
too?
is unfortunate. But you know, mistakes happen.
Yeah.
How do you learn from that mistake?
Oh yeah.
And like when I'm on sets now, I just finished a 7-camera ISO shoot with Oprah, and we're all on headsets. It's an ISO shoot, but it's kind of like a studio on location recording with a live audience, but we're on location. And all the cameras are rolling independently. There's not a truck or there's not a switcher. We're all rolling independently. And so what I automatically do now is say, all cameras roll and confirm.
Right.
And they all have to tell me that they're rolling, and they have to confirm that they're recording. And so that's my way now of making sure. And even when I'm just operating 2 cameras by myself, I'll say to myself, roll and confirm,
Yeah.
just so that double click doesn't happen.
I know that's right. Well, I missed the recording once, had no idea, and come to find out, it was actually a manufacturer error with the recorder.
Oh,
It
really?
wasn't even me.
But
Client doesn't care.
sometimes you can't get back from it.
No,
It
you
is
can't.
what it is. You just move on.
In that moment, were you able to ask the talent, "Hey, I didn't roll. Can we do that again?" And they
Yeah,
were cool
and
with it?
and you know, they were gracious enough to repeat what they said. The good thing about working talent is that they can give it to you again.
That's true.
You know, it's just those moments that, especially like in a documentary moment when you're filming something that is happening and immersing itself upon you right then and there, you can't get that back.
No.
You can't recreate that.
cry.
So luckily, it was like an interview and not an actual
Monologue.
moment. Yeah, that you just can't get it back because it's gone.
That is
Yeah.
the scariest
So I got
thing.
lucky from that standpoint.
Yeah. So I've had a mistake on set
Mm-hmm.
before and with you, and it was so nerve-wracking.
I don't even remember it.
Oh, great,
What
because
was it?
I do. Well, the day after the incident, I'll put it like that.
Oh.
You don't remember that? I came you panicking about that night.
Oh,
I
and
was
I
just
said,
like,
don't worry about it. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
It took me like 6 hours to come to tell you. Because I was so nervous that I had that phone call, and I was just like, if I was a bad person, I could have
Yeah.
took that to TMZ and
But see, one of your first question was how do I get a chance to work with them all these years? And one of those things is trust.
that's right.
So years ago, when Oprah was still on the Oprah show, her and Gail drove across country from California to New York
Her and Gail.
in a Chevy. Yeah, it was before reality shows really took on. This would have been like the ultimate reality series. Oprah and Gail.
Going across the states.
And back then it wasn't Betacam, what was it? It was Panasonic. We had Panasonic cameras, so I can't remember the format. DVC Pro. But at any rate, we filmed them for 8 days driving across the country, straight. Yeah, straight. But at any rate, what I'm getting to is that there was a lot that was said. They were in the car driving, and we were in a convoy behind them. But the car that they were in were completely loaded up with
Cameras
like
everywhere.
and record the whole back the back trunk of the car was video record decks rolling 24/7.
Wow.
And so there was a lot of information that was said, and even us too, because we had our context. We were listening to everything they were saying in the car, because we had to be ready. They could pull over in a moment's notice to go see a farmer and riding a horse, and they would say, "Oh, that's interesting." And they pull over, and we jump out with our cameras ready, and we were filming the moments as it happened.
Yeah.
So we were listening all the way through from
Chicago.
California to New York.
Oh, it's from New York to wow.
On that drive. And so there was a lot of stuff said. Which is fine. But when you work with somebody for a long time and they have trust in you, those are the things that you don't worry about, because we're family.
Right.
It doesn't make sense to take that on the side and try to sell it for something. First of all, that's not cool.
No.
And your days are limited in the business if you do something like that as well. So,
Trust me.
So
I was nervous about who was going to get it.
yeah, but the thing is that just like I'm a trusted camera person, they have trusted editors as well
That's true.
that have heard everything under the sun.
I bet.
So
Because they got to go through it all.
right, exactly. Same way with the reducers and things like that. So when you get to that level, you have a network of people that you know and you trust, and you stay with them for a lot of times for those reasons, if not others.
Yeah. No, that's cool, man. What is what's the number one lesson you've learned from working around people like Oprah and Maya Angelou? Anything you take from them? What is that?
That they're people just like us. They eat, sleep, and drink like us.
That's true.
You know, at the end of the day, they have the same faults, they have the same dreams, they have the same desires, they have the same wants as us. They just have, in some cases, have a lot more access to money and power.
Yeah.
But they're the same as us. And when you start looking at it that way, then you come down from being all freaked out and nervous too.
That's so
that
true.
you're with someone of that caliber.
For me, it's like fourth quarter of a game. I just know that when I'm around them, it's time to be on. I have no time to fan out.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I have to do my job and do it well.
Yeah.
So they can like me.
Absolutely. You cannot fan out. No, that's every now and then you have a moment.
Have you ever had a moment?
Yeah.
Oprah was my moment, for sure.
I think I've had a couple. So when President Obama ran the first time, I was fortunate enough to work on his campaign shooting commercials for the first run. And after he won, I remember vividly, we were in the Oval Office and Oprah had did a Christmas special with the Obamas. So we were filming and I hadn't seen him in a while because he had become president. And so we are in the Oval Office and he comes in and, you know, he does the handshake around with people. And for a second, I forgot that he was president of the United States because I had been with him, you know. So
Because he was campaigning.
Yeah. So
he was a normal guy to you.
No, and he still presents himself as a normal guy. And he came up to me and you know, he does a shake and I say, "Hey man, how's it going?" And I was like, it's like Mr. President, not "Hey man, how you doing?"
That's true.
But he's
so cool.
He drops his guard and he's cool and he meets you at the same level as you are. He doesn't try to be above you. He doesn't try to be below you. He meets you where you're at. And so he met me the same way.
That's so cool.
Even though he could have been like, you know,
No.
you don't greet me like that. I'm the president.
Yeah,
you know?
no, but that doesn't seem like that's in his character.
It's not. But it was, for me, it was like, oh, you know, you're not supposed to do that.
That's
the
funny.
president of the United States now. So
Yeah, Oprah was definitely my moment of freaking out, for sure. But it wasn't like I did it in front of her. It was
to yourself. Well,
it
you
was
can
to
keep it
myself.
inside.
It was to myself.
I remember some years ago too. I can't remember years because I'm bad at that. But we were filming at the Oscars, and it was the day before where they do all of the rehearsals. And so if you're presenting at the Oscars, you do the rehearsals the day before. And so I'm I had stopped filming. I'm backstage, and I'm standing, just kind of like being a wallflower. I'm just standing and just observing and taking it all in. And somebody comes next to me and stands like right this close to me, up on the wall too. And I wasn't paying any attention to him, but I just knew that there was somebody there.
Quick break. If you want the uncut audience questions, BTS breakdowns, and my personal checklist and templates, join the Sound Mixer School community. It's $10 a month, cancel anytime, and you get a live 10 to 15 minute after show Q&A where you get to help shape the next episode. Scan the QR code or hit the link in the description. Now let's get back to the show.
And honestly, it's like this happened yesterday. I looked and then I looked down, and it was Prince.
I knew you were going to say that. It was the look down that got me.
It was Prince, and I was like, okay, one of my favorite all-time musicians of ever.
I think
he's the only person from a musicianship that I really, really felt a genuine loss for when he passed. And I look at him, and he looks at me, and it was one of those things like,
sorry,
don't freak out. This is not the freak out moment. Just remain cool. And all I did with him was to do the black man nod, which was, and then he acknowledged and did the same thing, and then he walked away.
and that's all he wanted. That's probably all he wanted. He didn't want too much from me. Wow.
I was like, wow.
He said, I looked down.
Wow.
Well, as soon as you said that, I knew it was him. I think I heard a couple people describe him that way. And like, they're looking around, they're at a club and, at a party and they're looking around and then they look down and then that was Prince. And I was like, damn. I wouldn't freak you. So you've never worked with him?
No, never had the pleasure.
Oh, wow. That's
Never had the
shocking to
pleasure
me.
working with him. Yeah.
So what's the number one mistake you think people make when they're around celebrities and people like that? As like crew members?
Probably just over freaking out, in terms of forgetting what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Because of that moment.
Right.
If you treat them like no other person, I think a lot of that just kind of goes away. And maybe it's because I've been in the game so long that I don't treat them like anything else but a regular person.
Right.
Because it's not new to me anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Now, one thing about you that I've noticed is that you're very technical and you're very stoic on set. And I would imagine that that's something that gets you hired as well. You're good at what you do. You're a fly on the wall. You're going to come in there and get it done. What is that about? Because that made me so nervous when I had that incident with Chris Rock and all that.
People have commented and said that I'm kind of not necessarily mean, but
No, stoic.
I think it probably has a lot to do with making sure that there is a particular presence that I need to carry. Mm-hmm. And probably that comes from back in the day, there weren't that many black camera DPs. Mm-hmm. I mean, I could count them, literally. And 99.9% of the time, I was the only black person on the set. So with that comes great responsibility.
It does.
In terms of, making sure that you are representing well for us as a people, and to make sure that people took you serious for what you were there to do. And so that's probably why I have that disposition.
And I like it. I would love to embody some of that on set for myself. And also this, the era that you came from, where you were the token on set, it still carries over in how you can handle yourself on set, meaning you still are very particular and very careful, and you strive for greatness. I've noticed that on set, and I like being around you. And I know that when I come on set with you, we have to be on point. And I love that. And also I want to say thank you for giving me a shot. I know that on that Oprah job, you did your due diligence and you called around. And some haters had something to say about me, but you gave me a chance.
No, I did.
And I appreciate that.
And, because the thing is that, and that particular sound person is with me today, not the hater.
Oh, because I'm about to say, who is
Because
it?
I didn't know who that was, but he was. So this sound person has been probably, we've worked together for like 20 some odd years, and he's a trusted friend in the business, and I'll lean on him, for support when I'm going somewhere and I can't travel with a sound person. I need to hire somebody local, and I'll ask him, do you know anybody in this particular region or this particular city or state? And he has a laundry list of people.
Okay, well, I need to know who this is so I can take him out to eat. It was
And
actually
so
Jason Perez that introduced me to you from my knowledge.
Jason Perez?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because I called Jason and said, I need a good person in Atlanta, because Jason's from Atlanta.
That's crazy.
And so he recommended you. And so that's when I called you. But then I had also talked to my
Your connect.
20-year friend too, and he gave me some names as well. And then when I gave him your name, he said, "Oh, I hadn't heard of her." And then he went and he does his due diligence, looking up, people and this and that. And there was somebody who had a negative comment about you on set. I don't know who that person was at all, but it didn't stop me from having a conversation with you. And it's also instinct, and intuitiveness, where your spirit led me to believe that whatever that was could have been a one-off, or it could have been unjustifiable too, because a lot of times people unjustifiably say things that aren't necessarily accurate.
Yeah.
And so it would have been unfair for me to judge you from third hand.
Right.
It would have been one thing if my 20-year friend had said, "Oh, by the way, I worked with her."
Gotcha.
But I didn't know that person from Adam who had made that comment. So why am I taking that as value?
And I thank God for that too.
Yeah. So
That job actually was the reason why we were able to get our first office space.
Is that right?
job was a huge blessing to me.
Good.
And my
Good.
whole crew.
So that was the behind the scenes.
That was behind the scenes.
Of
The Color Purple.
Color Purple, the movie.
That was amazing.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for that opportunity.
No, that was a wonderful.
Like, I'm
experience.
forever in debt to you for that. Because how often I'm from Atlanta. Well, actually, I'm from South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I live in Atlanta now, obviously, but Oprah's not here often that I know of. So it was really an amazing time in my life. So thank you for that.
So what, do I get residual checks coming in?
Oprah's going to take care of you.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right,
she
good,
already
good.
told me. That's
Okay.
why she still got you working right now, actually. So my next question is, we're in a very different season now from The Color Purple even. What are your non-negotiables on set? They don't have to be 3, but what are some non-negotiables on set for you that every time you go on a set, these things must happen? What are they?
I don't know. From a DP perspective,
From
or
a
just,
DP perspective.
I mean, there's only so much power you have as a DP because there are people above you. So
I wouldn't know.
So, I mean, it's not like I can go in and dictate this, and that. But it's important for me to work with people who are genuinely nice. Back starting out, I had to work with some really not so great assholes.
Me too.
And you suck it up and you deal with it. But now I wouldn't accept it. It's like, no.
When did that happen in your career?
Probably, the other thing is that you have to, at a certain point, walk the walk and talk the talk. And sometimes you're faking it until you make it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're in a particular seat, but you don't feel like it's your seat yet.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like you're warming it up, or somebody left and you're just occupying it for a few moments in time.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, you realize, no, that's my fucking seat.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be there.
I'm supposed to be there. And so when that mindset clicks, and it's not a cockiness,
not arrogance.
it's
No.
not arrogance. It's just that you've paid your
It's conviction.
dues, and you know that you can handle the job. And I would be the first to say that there are plenty of DPs that can walk circles around me in terms of what they do and how they do it. I've never been the one to say, I am the shit, that I know everything, because I don't. I know what I know, and what I've been able to develop over the years, I'm okay with that, you know, in terms of embodying that as a person and as a DP. So once I was able to kind of walk in that conviction,
Right.
then that's when things turned around for me. And at that point it was like, I don't need to work with people who are assholes. I don't. I don't. I mean, if I had to make ends meet, that
I was
might
about
be
to say.
different. And I
Right.
understand that for people who are kind of coming up. But I'm at a point now where I can say no. We've said no to working with tobacco companies. We've said no to working with Republicans on commercials who are running for campaigns. I'm just like, no. Why everything you embody is against what I believe in. So why would I use my talents to actually further your position in making decisions and voting
Right.
that I disagree with? So no, you're not going to use my talent in that way.
100%.
And so luckily I'm at a point now where I can say that, you know, and I don't necessarily begrudge people who aren't. People have to do what they have to do to make ends meet.
Right.
But for me personally, no, I don't have to cross those lines.
So, that's a good point, because everybody, some people that are watching this podcast may be new to the industry. And what a time to be coming in the industry.
This is not a good time.
What advice would you have for people that are just starting
No.
out?
I don't know. This whole AI stuff is it's both enlightening and then it's both a plus and a whole bunch of minuses, in my opinion. I look at photographers now, and I look at like even models and people in the ad agency. I think they're going to get hit before we do, because if you have a company now and you want to launch a new product line or you want to launch a new campaign, and especially if it's in print, you can create your own person now. I can take your nose, I can take his eyebrows, I can take his cheekbones and create a whole person
So creepy.
now. And so now you don't have to pay for an actor. You don't have to pay for residuals. You don't have to pay for any of that stuff. You create it all in your AI land. You don't need a stage. You don't need a gaffer. You don't need a grip. You don't need an audio person. You don't need a camera person, because it's all done graphically, in AI.
How are you
So-
pivoting in a time like this?
Well, I'm at the end now. So
Look at you. I'm at the end now.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm 60 years old. So I have to figure out how long can I maintain what I have and what I'm doing for a few more years. But I feel for people who are
Just starting out.
starting out
Or in the middle of their
or in
career.
the middle of the career, because it's gonna be huge.
Yeah.
And we don't know where this industry is going right now. We really don't. And I think people at home don't necessarily care.
Right. Of course they don't.
They don't care. I look at some of the and I was just actually showing this to somebody. There's a group that takes old films like especially in the black community, old films, Coming to America with Eddie Murphy. Was that the name of Coming to America?
Yeah.
And so they've created these little kids, and these little kids are actually saying the same. They create the same scenes in the film,
AI.
and it's all AI.
Ugh.
It's all AI, and it's so funny. And people, and I'm laughing too. People at home are going to embrace things like that, and AI is going to be a friend to them. They're not going to care that it's not a real person.
So do you think we're going to have an Emmys for AI and an Emmys for real humans?
I would probably think so. There's going to be a category for AI sooner or later. It has to be, because that's what's dominating. That's what's taking over the industry.
I saw, and I'm not sure if it's Marvel, but like the Toy Story, the animated stuff used to take at least 90 million or 60 million dollars to produce, and now they've been able to cut the budget to like 30 million
Yeah.
by doing it all AI.
Right.
That's very scary.
I know. So, I mean, and I don't have an answer for that. I really don't.
So somebody
I
watching
couldn't-
this podcast right now may be really inspired by your upbringing, your whole career, and they want to get started in 2025, and they want to be a DP and do what you do. They want to work with people like Oprah and legends like that, which I don't even know if we have a category of superstars now that the internet, that's a whole nother conversation. But what would you suggest they do? Like if you, seriously, if you
Well,
were
I mean,
starting
do
today.
what you love, obviously. And the thing is now is that with the advent of technology, you don't need to spend a lot of money to create. That's the beauty now of where the industry's going. Back when I started, the average person couldn't afford a camera.
Right.
You know, I think the cameras that we use now back in the day would have been maybe a $50,000 investment. Seriously.
Wow. Yeah.
You know,
Whoa.
with where the technology was back then than where it is now. Even editing. Our first online suite at our company, and the people who don't know what the online suite is basically the editing that allowed you to finish everything. So you had what was called like an ADO machine where graphics could fly around, and you had a Chiron that gave you your
Above me. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, so these were different components that were in an online facility. You had your 1-inch machine. This is all linear, not
Whoa.
non-linear,
Yeah.
but linear. You had the ADO was like that was, I think that's what they call the ADO, but it did special effects.
Okay.
When you had a box in the corner and you had stuff that was flying around the screen graphically, that was one component of your online system. She had all these different components. That's our first system cost us back then $100,000 to have an online suite, and that included the 1-inch machine that was the master record for your reel, and all of the other components that were there was about $100,000. And that was kind of like on the bare bottoms. We didn't have state of the art, but that was to get you in the door. That $100,000 investment is right here in your, seriously, you
In
can
my
do
iPad.
everything in that now.
That's
Or you can do it with your phone. You can do a whole movie now with your iPhone. You know?
right lighting and sound.
I mean, and it's got depth of field now. If you're in portrait mode, you've got depth like a mug up to 1.4.
Yeah.
I mean, you can. And so I always say to people, you don't have that as an excuse anymore. Like, I can't afford to create anything.
Yeah.
It's right
right
here
there.
at your fingertips now. So that's the one thing about technology, and what people coming up today face. They don't have to face the challenges that we had because we couldn't afford an editing machine.
Keith, you
But-
really believe that we're gonna get used to not
Absolutely. We
going-
get used to everything. So you know how I know? Because it becomes habit. When COVID came, people couldn't go to movie theaters, and they got comfortable. And then streaming services developed their technology a little bit, a lot better, whereas they could store a lot more and stream a lot more movies at the same time. So it's not just the same 20 movies, but you can stream hundreds of movies now with technology. And so people got out of used to going to the movies because of COVID, and because you could just watch TV watch at home. So now that's why the film industry is at a crossroads now, because people aren't going to the movies the way they used to.
It's horrible.
Yeah, because of streaming. So inevitably, when people get used to things, that becomes the norm. And people are going to get used to AI because it's going to be the norm. So
I was hoping that was beyond my time, but it seems like it's creeping up on us.
and with the technology the way it is, they advance every, seems like 6 months. It gets better and better and better.
It really
So-
is. Do you think there are going to be any regulations on this to help save?
Well, that's the problem, is that our lawmakers are short or they're not moving fast enough in terms of regulation. They're not. And that's why the writers went on strike because of AI.
But really, like,
That's why if there were regulations in place where you couldn't do this and do that,
right.
then maybe it would not have, you know, it wouldn't go the way it's going, but they're so behind the eight ball with legislation that I think the horse is out of the barn now.
So how are people like you and other filmmakers that you know, how are they surviving right now in this
A
climate?
lot of people are out of the business, got out of the business. I know a lot of people in LA who, first of all, they left LA,
Right.
and they just couldn't make it anymore because the industry is tanked.
Keith, what has happened to this beautiful industry that we,
It's changed.
oh my God.
But everything
Like,
changes.
everything changes. Radio
Everything
became,
changes.
you know,
I was making an analogy with someone the other day about change, and I'm sure that back in the day there were all these horse and buggy companies
it's true.
out there.
The Iceman, the Milkman. I
Right,
mean,
right.
the
And it
elevator
was like,
operator.
what is this
Yeah.
car running down the street? Oh,
That's
I'll be
true.
okay, because everybody has horse and buggies.
Yeah.
And surely, slowly but surely, horse and buggy businesses went out of business.
That's so true.
So, because cars came in. So, there's always going to be technology. There's always going to be advancements. There's always going to be something that takes over another entity. TV is at that crossroads now where streaming is going to take over.
Well, I think streaming is now having an issue because Netflix is now offering podcasters. They're trying to compete with the podcast. Keith, I don't know when the last time I watched Netflix. I have been on YouTube for like a year. That's all I watch. Why pay for it? I mean, I'm not watching anything. And I don't know if I'm helping the economy or not, but I haven't, like, some of my favorite actors were canceled and all kinds of stuff. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't really know.
But I look at it like TV. It's like I've always been an avid TV watcher. That's why I'm in the industry today, is because I remember growing up as a kid, when I got on punishment for doing something wrong, I could go outside, but I couldn't watch TV because that was my sweet
everything.
spot.
Yeah.
That was my everything, and mom and dad knew how to get me, so I couldn't watch TV. So, but now, I'm at the point now where I don't even watch a lot of TV. So if I'm not doing it, and I know people in the business that have not had a TV set in years, but yet they're in the business.
I haven't
And I was
had
like,
a TV set.
No, they don't watch it.
Not even the internet or streaming
They
or
don't.
anything?
Well, this was before streaming came in, but literally in terms of watching network programming, on-air programming, they don't watch it.
They're not helping.
No, they're not.
And maybe I'm not helping.
No, you're not.
I need to take a date to the movie, huh?
That's where you should.
Well, I mean, you already told me if you had to start from zero today, you would be basically fucked because it's tough out here right now.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to find your way.
You have
I
to
mean,
pivot.
But the thing is that what I did is not necessarily going to be conducive for what somebody does today. I started my career out of high school in 1987. I'm sorry, out of college in 1987. So it's not going to be the same,
No,
nor should it be the same.
right.
So I think everybody has to kind of figure out what lane they want to go in, find out what the sweet spot is, find out what you really love doing.
What if I make the decision that I want to be a camera op in 2025? How am I going to make a decent living doing that?
I don't know.
But you're still working.
Yeah, but the thing is that I have longevity. I have trusted clients that I've had for years that still, knock on wood, thankfully call me.
Right.
So I'm not trying to develop a client base now. I think what you need to be, if I could maybe say, you probably just need to be nimble. You need to make sure that you touch as many people as possible, because you never know which person will be the one that takes you to that next level. So always marketing yourself, always knocking on doors, always trying to make sure you meet this person and that person and this person. Because the more people you know in the industry, the better you will be. Because if they know you and they trust you, then theoretically they will call you.
You know what I am learning now is that online real estate is important. And the more people get to see you in your field, you gain authority.
Exactly.
You give people the opportunity to get to know you,
Right.
to like you, to trust you. So that's why I'm moving into the podcasting space, to kind of claim the real estate in the sound
And
community.
and I admire you for that.
Thank you. I
That's
was nervous
awesome
when I
that you're
called you a
doing
couple
that.
months ago. I was like, Keith, I'm going to do this thing. And I'm still working on a couple other things like this class, this 5-day challenge that we're doing, this podcast space. We're trying to figure out a way to pivot in this industry. And it's challenging, but I think we're trying to figure it
Yeah,
out.
but the one thing I probably was remiss in saying, I think you should always be trying to market yourself. And what we didn't have back in the day and what's available now with technology is Facebook, is Instagram, is TikTok. You can market yourself for little money, you know? And so those are the things that we didn't have.
You like how my commercials sound? Of course you do. You should learn from the pros at Sound Mixers. Sign up today.
Join our 5-day challenge where we'll teach you how to get pro-level sound on set, learn the gear, the workflow, and the tricks of the trade straight from certified pros. Click below to sign up today. Yeah.
Back when, back in the day before the internet, there were these books that each major market had. Then they would come out at the beginning of the year, and everybody who felt that they were something in the industry would pay money to be put into this book that was
Yeah.
printed. And so it was kind of like a guide. Like Chicago had one, LA had one, New York had one.
Georgia had one called Oz. I was in it.
All right. So
Yeah.
those were the only ways you could really market yourself, unless it was just word of mouth or people that you already knew. And so the internet has taken that over now, and so you can get your word out, you can get your name out to hundreds of thousands of people,
Yeah.
like you couldn't do back in the day.
Right.
So although it is more challenging today, you still have a lot more avenues for success than what we had back in the day.
That's true. So you said that you're reaching the end of your career. So how does that look for you now? Is it more being on camera like this, teaching? Is it more mentoring, or what is your plan? What are you planning to do after this?
Well, I think so. It's one of those things where I don't think, unless you have a set goal of saying, I'm retiring at a particular age, come hell or high water. That's my age or whatever.
Oh, is that how you feel?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. But what I'm saying is that I may have certain feelings, but really, you retire when the calls stop coming.
That's true.
That's really what it's about. If you still enjoy what you're doing
You just keep going.
and you still want to be there, but the calls aren't there, then that's really when you retire.
Yeah.
And I also I'm a realist, and knowing that I only have a certain amount of days left or seasons left in this particular chapter because of my age.
Okay.
This particular industry is really big on ageism.
But you don't look your age.
That's because thank you for that. But there's a purpose for not letting my hair gray.
I think I'm gonna do something about this because my intern is calling me Miss Shakira, and I don't know if I like that.
Well, that's reverence.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, like, I don't think doctors age out, but I think people in our industry age out, because people like working with people, generally speaking, that are part of their peer group. 30-year-olds like working with 30-year-olds. 20-year-olds like working with people in their peer group. And that's,
I don't know if I feel that way, but I see.
well,
how
but
that
every
works.
now and then you have people who gravitate towards people who are older because they know that they have some experience and some knowledge that they can dip from.
Listen, that's me.
And I appreciate that. I did that as well, but everybody is not of that same cloth. And even when I was young, I wanted to work with people in my same age group. I didn't work with some old fart. I didn't because we weren't relatable because of age. And
Gotcha.
so it would be stupid for me now to assume that I can necessarily relate with a 20-year-old coming up the ranks now.
Yeah.
So they're not going to want to work with me
You.
for the most part,
Yeah.
unless they want to gain some knowledge that they can't get from their counterparts. And so I'm wise enough to know that my day is coming too, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Right.
You know?
It's life.
It's the cycle of life that we're in. It's not here yet,
Yeah. Don't rush it because
not
I
here
need
yet.
some phone calls. Okay.
but there's certain things that I've done over the years. I try to maintain a look, a style, a feel that does not say, look at this 60-year-old man coming down the street.
Good point. When
And
did you
so-
realize that?
Probably in my 40s. It's definitely when I hit 50 for sure.
I was like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, but I've always had kind of like a young attitude. So it's not something that I had to develop. I already had that in me. And I just use it to my advantage.
Yeah. You
'cause-
definitely.
'cause a lot of people
You and
don't
your
know.
wife, actually.
Yeah, well, we're kind of of the same cloth from that perspective. So, but I use it. Hopefully, I use it to my advantage,
You
and
do.
and that gives me a couple more years in the biz.
So, what does legacy mean to you now?
Good
in-
question. And I'm going to fall back on what Oprah said because Maya told her this. Maya Angelou told her that you don't know what your legacy is because your legacy is not derived from yourself,
Right.
but how other people perceive you.
Absolutely.
And so I can't sit here and say what my legacy is.
Well,
Other people have to tell me what my legacy is.
that's such a. But I understand, and I actually feel the same way. I guess what I'm asking is, what does legacy mean to you now?
For me, it's important. I'm at the age now, and I'm comfortable in my skin to want to help and teach people who are younger than me coming up the ranks. So my legacy from that standpoint would be helping people get to where I am in my position and helping them to get further than what I could ever grasp. Because when I was in college, my business partner today was my film professor.
Wow.
He and I'll give you a brief history of Media Process Group, which is now in its 40th year in business. So when I graduated, I was a junior or a senior in college. He and two other guys had just formed a production company in Chicago, and they were fledgling, and so they were still making ends meet. So they were teaching on the side to make money, but then they would put all of their money and put it into the business to buy equipment to this and that. And so my business partner today, Bob Hercules.
Bob Hercules, a great name, by the way.
Yeah, so Bob was teaching a Tech 3 class in my junior or senior year, and he loved my work, and he said, would you do an internship with our new company? And I was like, sure. So I spent a year there still in school, and I did an internship. And then once I graduated, they had enough business to hire me on. And that's how I kind of developed my chops. I started doing audio first, and then developed in a few years to actually do camera, which is what I really wanted to do.
You started off doing audio.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
So you interned. I think this is really
Well, it was,
important.
I interned.
Did you get paid for interning?
No, there was not a paid internship.
Thank you.
No.
Thank you
But
for
I
saying
mean, most don't.
But I paid my interns.
Back in the day, so going forward, we paid our interns. But back then they didn't have money to pay me. But it was okay.
Yeah.
Because I was getting critical knowledge.
Yeah.
You know. So, but when I graduated, I was hired on full time. Make a long story short, I became a business partner,
How did you do that?
sweat equity.
Okay.
I didn't buy in,
Okay.
but it was one of those things where either I was going to leave the company
Ooh,
or they felt that I was valuable enough to actually obtain ownership.
that's awesome.
So, so now it's just two of us now. One unfortunately passed of colon cancer, and the other one left the business many years ago. And so it's been Bob and I for all of these years.
40 years.
Yeah. Wow. Yep. I didn't start at 40 years. I was 3 years or 2 years. So for me, it's like
37 years.
37 years.
That's my age.
Yeah.
That's why that's why I'm like, yes, sir. Yes, whatever you need, sir. Yeah. Whoa, that's so incredible.
So I mean, but that was, and I've been with the same company all of these years.
So-
I never went from this to that to that to this, and I've been able to do an array of different types of filming through this same company.
So you're 1099 with them? That's your company. I mean,
No,
what
I'm
do
not
you-
1099 with them. No.
So
I'm owner.
you're
one
owner of the
owners,
company.
Yeah.
So, but when you were not, you were 1099 and they were just paying you as a freelancer.
No, I was never a freelancer.
Oh, you were an intern and then they gave you a partner.
Then I was not
really
a
fairy tale.
partnership. No, not a partnership. I was an employee.
Okay,
And then a few years later, I became an actual partner.
gotcha.
So it was through sweat equity.
Gotcha.
From that perspective. So like I said, mine is a story tale of a story
A fairy tale.
fairy tale. Thank you. Where everybody's
That's not
road
gonna
is
happen.
not like that.
Yeah.
Who stays with one entity for all those years?
I mean, but you have ownership. No, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
but I
for you
didn't
too.
at the beginning. I didn't.
That's true. Yeah.
So, and even if you have ownership, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to stay with it. You move on. Sometimes people move on. Sometimes people grow in and out of
That's true.
different entities that they're a part of.
Yeah,
So-
you're not like LeBron. You're like Jordan. Well, I'm not even like Jordan, but you know,
Well, he went with the rings.
yeah.
He was following the ring game.
Man, what a time to be in Chicago. Like you.
Oh, during the Jordan era.
During
yeah.
all of it.
Oh, yeah.
Were you ever working on any of that stuff?
I didn't do a lot of sports.
Okay.
The only sports I did shoot one commercial with Jordan, and that was when he had a the same owner of the Bulls owned the White Sox, and so he did before he actually quit basketball, and did a stint in baseball.
Yeah.
There's a commercial of him. It was a very simple commercial where you hear the fanfare of a ball game, and it starts on the cleats and slowly tilts up the body. And it's a person with a baseball uniform, a Sox uniform on. And it slowly goes up, and it's Jordan in
The reveal.
a White Sox uniform.
Oh wow.
And it was like an opening day, tease or whatever.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really the only time I really work with Jordan.
Gotcha.
The only time, because I don't do a lot of sports.
I mean, you came up in Chicago around a great time in general.
That is
the
true.
birth of Oprah's, all that stuff that
That
was
is true.
happening there. Were you even working with Steve Harvey when he was there during the Family Feud?
I did a few things with Steve Harvey in their promo department.
Okay.
We shot some promo commercials for him.
Gotcha.
But I've never been a studio person. My main focus has always been on location, specializing.
Okay.
I could do studio stuff, but that's not really what my bread and butter has been over the years.
Gotcha.
It's me going on location
And creating there.
and creating and figuring out. You get in the ground and you're like, okay, what's the best way to achieve this objective in the time that we have?
Yeah, you do good at it. You really
So
do.
that's been my strong suit all these years.
If it is the last, I need to know what are you going to do after that. I can't imagine you being at home just twiddling your fingers and.
Well,
not
I
doing
started in photography. In high school, I started as a photographer, and the high school that I went to had a radio and TV program. And so that's when I kind of shift gears and went to to moving images instead of still images.
Gotcha.
But I still have a passion for it. I love taking photographs. So probably in that next chapter, I'll probably go back to just doing photography. Yeah, but it would
Gotcha.
just be on for the love of it, not as a career per se.
So as one starts to notice that their career, just due to age and time, is coming to a halt, what do you do financially to prepare yourself for something like that?
Well, hopefully you stock some money up.
Well, I hope so. I hope so. What's the advice? And when did you start? And how did you?
You should
how did you
start
doing
as
that?
soon as possible.
What's your rule of thumb? What were you doing?
And don't rely on Social Security, because I don't think it'll be there by the time
No.
people in their 20s and 30s get to that point. I think the system will be completely different. I'm not a financial guy though. You know, I've never been good with numbers like that.
Okay.
We'll be okay.
Gotcha.
We'll definitely be okay from real estate investments and things like that.
Oh, you have real estate. That's good. Good.
Yeah. So, I mean, but you should, one should definitely, if you can, diversify.
Yeah.
And from
As
that
soon as
perspective.
possible.
Yeah. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Gosh.
And sometimes it's good to think outside the box, and sometimes it's good, and it's okay too for people not necessarily to have one career all of their life like I did. There are people who have 7, 5, 6, 7 different careers throughout their life. That doesn't make them any less accomplished than me.
That is so true.
It's just that they had a different journey and they had different chapters in their life. As long as you're happy with what you've been doing all these years, that's all that really matters. It's your happiness and your stability and your sanity.
Right.
I mean, I could love doing I could love this business, but if it drives me crazy, then maybe I shouldn't be in the business.
Yeah, I don't think you would have
You know
this
what I mean?
longevity if you
Yeah.
So what about Bob? What is he gonna do if you leave?
This is his last year.
Is he a
retiring.
creative too?
He's a director. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's his last year. He's leaving at December. It will be his last year.
Gosh,
So he's walking away.
are you gonna bring somebody else in, or?
Haven't decided yet.
Gosh, it's so hard to say goodbye.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play that song. I feel like playing that song.
Don't play it yet. Don't play it yet. There's no goodbyes. It's just another hello.
There you go. Well, Keith, thank you so much for taking the time to come here today.
Thank you for having
I don't
me.
think this is going to be the last interview.
It better not be.
It will not
We're
be.
just scratching the surface.
That's it. I didn't want to do too much. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I just want to give people a little taste.
Just a little something.